Cosmos and Club Brugge coming out of the half-time break, and the Belgians will be wary of leaving the door open for Highlands Park, who play later in the day against ADO Den Haag. Because were they to only get a single point here, things were to stay the same, that would mean a win for Highlands Park would take them top of the group and send them into the semi-finals of this competition. Right now, Jomo Cosmos are standing resolute, and on the balance of what we've seen in the tournament so far, you might consider this a slight upset, were the European side not able to get their desired result.
Certainly, Grant. It looks like Highlands Park will be watching this one closely, because if Highlands Park manages a draw even or a win, they could just catapult to the top of the table and they see themselves in the semi-finals.
One thing that we do know is that Jomo Cosmos, in order to progress, need at least a 3-0 win here against their current opposition, and to hope for Highlands Park to lose in their game later. So that's what's required from the South Africans. It doesn't look likely. It's been 5 halves of football in which they have failed to score so far in this competition, and they'll be looking to at least get a goal in the group stages. They do, of course, have 2 additional matches after this, playoff games, in which they determine their standing in the competition to play. So hopefully in 5 games they'll be able to hit the back of the net, and they did come close on occasion during the first stanza.
1 or 2 half opportunities for Jomo Cosmos, but certainly Club Brugge just dominating proceedings.
Can I just say the highlights package at halftime was very biased towards the Belgians. There's a flick header, and now away. Cosmos had 8 shots, 4 of them were on target, and there was no highlights. There's Vanaka. Kervelds trying to find himself some space. Nice little reverse pass there. Can't locate the man who darted into that open area in the form of Matthias de Wolf.
Kervelds not having one of the best games.
Now here's Sabisi. That's a Soma tracking back from the midfield, the covering run there.
Kervelds was guilty of missing the first 2 opportunities that fell to him first half. This game could have been wrapped up if he made the most of those chances. But you just see the number 10, Samuel Asoma. He's just come into this field, to this competition in the second game, and really provided stability for the Belgians. Covering for his full-back when he ventured forward. Always alert of players around him. Reminds me a bit of the Kante playing for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Does the dirty work and lets the rest of the players shine.
We have some Kante type players in South Africa ourselves, the likes of Nodada at Cape Town City, Sipasitli and Glovo, especially at Maritzburg United, has been one of the standout players this season. Came through their academy, was absolutely brilliant in the reserve league, although was deployed as a full-back, and now operating in the center of midfield, doing tremendously well. Yes, Sabisi doing pretty well with the run and can't match it with the pass. And when the ball came back to him, he let fly. And in the end, rather easy pickings there for Sene Lemons.
The MDC really providing a great platform for the youngsters to perform and show us what they can do. And great thing that making their way, filtering slowly through to the PSL teams, you know. Looking at Bloemfontein Celtic, just 2 youngsters being introduced recently. Maema and Dlamini. They had sterling performances the weekend for Bloemfontein Celtic. You mentioned Young and Glovo.
There's a ball to the back post. No one's on the end of it. And Naumam and Capello Dlamini, both standout players at the reserve level, and making the step up. And a pretty easy transition for them, because they've been performing so consistently for a side that has 2 good showings in a row. Here's the coach, Patrick Sisikawe.
And Coach Trigo.
Yep, had a chat with him earlier as well.
Came up against him in a few Bafana Bafana versus Mozambique matches, especially in the COSAFA competition. A very intelligent midfielder in his day. Alongside, I'm not sure if you're aware of Tiko Bukwani.
You're busting out some names here, Sticker. Was lamenting before the game the fact that they had received that red card yesterday. Oh, here's Limone. Could he get the opener? He does! It's the second of the tournament. And that is a fine, fine goal.
What a defense splitting pass, and Limone on hand just to finish it up there. Great run, great pass, great vision from the Belgians, and finally getting that elusive goal. And I'm sure that's going to just set the nerves a bit for the coaches.
He took the perfect touch to set himself.
Once again, Decletare providing the assist with that sweet left foot and a great run, great touch, and what a finish by the young David Luiz lookalike.
There was a moment where I thought maybe the touch was too heavy, but well, in the end, whether it was or not, whether it was his intention or not, he set himself well to slam that past the goalkeeper and get the opener. And now the Belgians are well on their way to qualifying first in this group. And if you look all the way back to last year, at this point they were bottom of their group and eventually had to resign themselves to an 11th place finish. As of now, they are still on course potentially for a first place finish. They would face the winners of Group C if they were to top the group. So it might be any one of Spartak Moscow, Orlando Pirates, or Black Africa Hopsol. Remember, in every single group, all of the teams are still able to qualify. Some a trickier task than others and have to rely on other results, but it's still possible, even all the way down in Group D, where Wits have 4 points and the other 2 teams have 1. Both of them, both Regiane and Espanyol, although it would require a couple of miracles, still mathematically in with a shot of ending top.
Certainly good position for the tournament itself, because every player playing here on day 3 of the future champions stand a chance. So we're certainly going to see some explosive games today. A lot of goals. We have been spoiled with some screamers in the first 2 days.
27 in total now. 12 came on the first day, 14 on the second day. Jomo Cosmos would have to add 4 and win this game 4-1 were they to have any hope of progressing top of their group. You have a suspicion, though, that were another goal to come, it will probably be for Brugge as they grow in confidence in this second half.
Certainly confidence will be low for the Jomo Cosmos outfit. They still haven't managed to score a goal. Once again, going down by a goal, and it's just going to start pinning them back. The Belgians will have some wind in their sails now and be more confident on the ball.
Nice from Radebe. Zuma, Radebe again. To the full back, who's looking for an option now. Tlanyane trying to find his man up front. The big Belgian defender just steps in and takes it. To Ketelare.
Just see the notable discipline that the Europeans possess. After scoring a goal, they just continue with the same intensity. They keep the same shape. No over elaborating on the ball, keeping it direct and just looking to score goals. And it's something that I think some of our South African teams can just adopt as well, you know. The job is certainly not over when you've scored 1 and just taken the lead.
But to sum up the manner in which they are playing right now, I would say they look very comfortable. Yes, Vanaka, he's at the center of what is providing them with that comfort. They know that they can always find him should they need to. The same is true for Deketelare. Here he goes, slips it through with his left foot, and a chance here, potentially. It's into the net, bundled over the line, but Abraham Mashala says no goal. The big man up front was impeding the goalkeeper.
Certainly the big man just fancy himself to get on the score sheet again. Once again, Deketelare in the middle of things, just providing the assists, and the striker almost adding to his tally. Well done by the goalkeeper, he was a bit lucky there.
Although he did pretty well to make the save, since it had taken a deflection, had to readjust. Now there's a sub for Jomo Cosmos. It's Gonsemo Molefe, a man to be withdrawn, and Prosper Zondi, who did start in the other games, is now coming onto the field.
There's something very noticeable about the Belgium outfit. At this tender age of most of them are 16 years old.
Yeah.
Just the match intelligence to know that they've gone a goal up. We now need to manage the game, slow the tempo down. And this man has been in the core of it. The captain, Vanake, alongside him, a very industrious Asoma, just providing that shield for the very creative Deketelare, so that he can weave his magic in between the lines and provide the goal.
Zuma, he's underhit that pass slightly. He'll be very grateful to his teammate who hustled to get on the end of it before eventually hoofing it upfield. That's Klanyane, who bailed out his captain. This is Munizero. He's put a foot wrong on a couple of occasions. But generally looked decent. He's also made those bombing runs down the flanks, although they haven't really used him as much as Jody DuPont on the other side. Hard to get how he's turned his tournament around from his opening day contribution, where he made a terrible mistake to allow Mamelodi Sundowns to score. Now Deketelare, searching for options, goes the pragmatic route, but it's returned to him, and he does have Kervelts out on the far side. Chooses to pick out DuPont, who finds himself in the center of the park from the full-back position. Here's Kervelts eventually, and turns it towards goal.
Grant, I wouldn't be surprised if in a year or two we'll see Bruges' number 8, Deketelare, playing for the first team, Club Brugge. We know that the Europeans are not afraid to promote their players early enough, and he certainly possesses all the attributes to make it at the highest level. And let's just stay on the watch for this name.
He would, however, have to break into a very strong Belgium team, as we've alluded to already. They are amongst the most successful, second only to their bitter rivals Anderlecht. They last won the league in the 15-16 season. They'll back themselves to win it this time around, although nothing is certain in the top 6 playoff that eventually determines who takes the trophy. They have a few African and South African connections as well. Do Club Brugge, Ulreo van Heerden rather, has turned out for them, come through their ranks.
I think also our Bafana captain Aaron Mokoena. It might be Club Brugge or Genk, if I'm not mistaken, but one of the two. So Belgium, very much a pathway for our national players.
Now an opportunity for Thomas van den Keerbos to make an impact. He scored yesterday. He'll be looking to add to his tally. Of course, Golden Boot is very much up for grabs as he comes on for Calvert here. A top scorer in the competition. Well, there's a couple that are currently all tied on 2 goals. In stark contrast to last season, when very early on, big Russian hitman had jumped to the front of the pack with 6 goals in his opening game against the Football School of India. Proshliakov, I believe.
I'm not too sure the School of India was too keen to join when they got that invitation.
Yes, Van der Keerbos. De Wolf had the ball taken from him.
To see how quickly Club Brugge managed to dispossess Cosmos as soon as they lose the ball.
They'll attempt to do it again, and they have. Limone. Yeah,
nice to see a striker working back and putting in doing the dirty work.
I was just about to say that. It's not the first time. It really isn't the first time. In fact, he's ended up making crucial tackles inside his own half in this game, and not from scenarios where they are defending a set piece or where they have all of their players behind the ball, from scenarios where he's run the full length of the field in an attempt to win it back. Here he is.
Certainly a great attribute to have as a striker. Coaches will be noticing that.
Asoma. Asoma gets it back. There's that triangular passing that you've made reference to, Stigger.
Yeah, so many times you don't have to move to be effective, and that's where your football intelligence comes in, and Asoma really intelligent, and as we mentioned, coming into the starting lineup, the second game for Club Brugge, and making the world of difference, especially allowing the talented Declatare the freedom to express himself.
Jomo Cosmos have had a 2-year hiatus from this competition. Last appeared in 2015. They qualified in 2015 after they lost out in the final of the Gauteng Cup. They lost 4-3 on penalties in that one. So you see a yellow card dished out here. And just walking away from the scene of the crime is Zamani Sijendu. Of course, that's Sibisi rather. Didn't even manage to get to the Gauteng Cup last season though. Jomo Cosmos, they were knocked out in the playoffs. The national first division teams, Tuks, Cosmos and Highlands, have to play off before they are eligible for entry into that particular cup. Yes, Decathlare, another reverse pass from the lanky man in the midfield. It's been 80% pass completion for Club Brugge. Jomo Cosmos, pale in comparison. 66% passes completed so far in this particular game.
The one criticism I can have of the young Declatare is that when he finds himself in just outside the box, he never looks to shoot, always looking to pass. And if he could just add that one aspect to his game, which I'm sure the coaches will pick up, just starting to become a bit more prolific in front of goal, it just gives you so much value as a soccer player and as a potential professional footballer.
With Metapo, played it out wide. Now, Club Brugge have picked up possession here. Decathlare, he'll be looking to pick out a man as he always does. Will he find the right option? And he turns it towards Munezero, fires over. A high five for the man who supplied him. There'll be high fives all around at the end of the game for their number 8 He has dictated terms here, as he has done from the beginning of the tournament, really standing out.
We just see the left back venture further up the field, and he done an underlap as opposed to overlap inside the field, and you just see intelligently the captain just assumed his position, Van Eyck. That's when we talk about the tactical intelligence of these young boys.
That was good play from Moloto to find a teammate. We haven't seen a lot of Archibald Moloto. He's been largely isolated, but he found Mabuza there, and he gets the applause of Patrick Chichikawe. He looked bright in the first half, but not the same story in the second.
Yeah, I think they cut off the supply to him. He had that mazy run in the first half, showed a lot of talent, but unfortunately I think his squad is just not able to thread through those passes and allow him to take on his defender.
To Ketelare, Limon. Brugge still dominating possession. Looks very similar to the way the second half ended. They've had more shots as well, 12 as opposed to Cosmos's 10 in total. And both have hit the target 50% of the time so far. Here's De Wolf. Still De Wolf. Sabisi has the ball back. De Wolf. Limone. Remember, if you finish bottom of your group, you're only eligible to play off for positions 9 to 12. You play off against the other three teams that finish bottom of their group, effectively in a semi-finals for that particular pool, 9 to 12. The winners play off for position 9 and 10. The losers of those games play off for positions 11 and 12. So the best really Cosmos can hope for if they stay in this position here. Losing to Club Brugge is to get themselves position 9, but they would have to win 2 games on the trot in order to do so.
Brugge needs just to be careful as to not concede a late goal. 1-0 is certainly not a cushion enough to see them through to the next round. One mistake and Cosmos can pounce, and they could find themselves an opportunity not to go through to the next round.
Van Hort not now. Remember, this is Club Brugge's 3rd consecutive appearance in this competition. We mentioned their 11th place finish last season. They finished 7th in their debut season. And they've played very similar opposition, at least in their first 2 entries. They had games against Pirates, Sundowns, Tijuana and Torino during 2016. They had games against the very same 4 teams in 2017. The only different game they had was they played Football School of India last round or last edition, and they played Shandong Luneng when they appeared in 2016. Funnily enough, in the edition where they finished 7th, they opened their campaign with a loss to Orlando Pirates and ended 7th eventually. 2017, they beat Orlando Pirates in their opener and ended 11th. We get an opportunity to have a look at a sub that's taking place. It's Benjamin Bruntz that's going to come on for the scorer of the only goal, a man who turns 17 next week. Gabriel Limone makes way, and Bruntz is on.
Certainly Limone could be happy with his contribution today, not only getting on the score sheet, but as we mentioned, also just helping out in defense and really putting a good shift today for the Belgians. And also being the reference, especially when the midfield wins back the ball. First point of reference was the big striker, and he held it up nicely, bringing in his teammates into play.
Good strong running there from the centre back for eventually holding the ball up. Now finding Milan Vinaka. Again, there's a certain degree of comfort that the European side are enjoying.
It's very difficult to defend against it, especially if Cosmos is not going to remain compact. You see one or two strikers just trying to chase down the ball and leaving the gaps in the middle.
Yes, Sabisi. There's a ball taken from him from Van der Kerbus. 15-year-old De Wolf. Hands all over him from Sabisi, but he somehow gets past and then fouls Sabisi.
Always difficult for a substitute to come on and just adapt to the pace of play. So I think the young substitute just a bit reactive, causing the foul on the Cosmos player. Cosmos player is looking a little bit fatigued, a little bit drained, loss of confidence.
Yeah,
I'm sure the coach is going to try to just give as many players as possible a run, just so they could feel the competition.
That is what he intends to do. 15-year-old Klabuza is the man coming off, which means Shaburi gets a chance in these final 4 or so minutes, plus additional time. All they are really capable of doing now is spoiling the Brugge party. Big clearance from Houtekit. It goes straight out into the stands on the far side. Now ball into the area. There was only Sabisi who could have made that dart forward to try and connect. In the end, it's with Lemons who will take some time. It comes back to him now. Martins watching on. As part of the 2008 Beijing Olympic team that won bronze out in China. Kept 9 times by the national team. His last cap, I think, came under Dick Advocaat, who's a famous player for one of the other clubs that we have here in this competition, in the form of ADO Den Haag. Here's De Wolf.
Great coach you mentioned there.
Yeah.
We know that he coached the Dutch national team, also coaching the Russian national team.
Den Haag have also had Martin Jol amongst their ranks as a player once upon a time. Justin Munizero gets it back. Van Hortnot, the only man on a yellow card for Club Brugge. Captain Vanaka.
Bruges certainly conserving their energy, knowing that they're through to the semi-finals and they're going to have to just put in a shift. They'll come up against a tough opposition in the semi-finals. As you mentioned, potentially one of Group C.
Yeah, it will be Group C. And Spartak probably looking the most likely, but it could be any one of either the Moscovats or Orlando Pirates or Black Africa Hopsol. Still all to play for in that group.
We will be hoping that Orlando Pirates will be the team to come against them. As you mentioned, we're trying to get a African or South African first-time winner for the future champs.
And it wasn't until 2015 that we even had a South African team even make it to the podium. Wits have gone close in the 2 recent years, and Pirates could still qualify as semi-finalists. They need to get a win over Espanyol and then hope that Spartak don't manage to get the 3 points. Spartak are coming up against Black Africa Hopsol, who, after watching them on day 1, you might have thought that's an easy win for Spartak, but you know what? Perhaps the Namibians could spring a surprise. Based on yesterday's performance, they may be able to.
Really a much improved Black Africa Hopsol in the second game. The first game, not a bad outfit. They took a lead into the first half against Orlando Pirates. Very tactical, used their height and strength a lot, and just died out in the second half. Similarly yesterday, came out of the change room.
Remains on side here. De Wolf has an opportunity and lets fly. Well, when he initially broke free, had he continued maybe charting a better course towards goal, he could have easily slid it home. Instead, he pushed himself out a little wide with every touch that he took.
I thought it was a hint of offside, but managed to get onto the ball and beat the offside trap. But as you mentioned, his first touch just never took him inside, took him out wide, and it eventually, or evidently, gave him a very difficult angle in on goal.
And Brunt, who hasn't really had a touch, I think, since coming on, was the only man stationed inside the 18-yard area, although I don't think he would have been able to squeeze a ball through to him in any case. So there's time now for a sub to take place inside stoppage time, and Matthias de Wolf, the 15-year-old who just had that shot that was saved, is withdrawn here. It means there's an opportunity for Jono Leon to come on. Leon, whose name is spelled like lion and not pronounced like that.
Fortunately, you said it first. I was going to say the lion entering the field. Is that the French pronunciation?
Yeah, it's like Lyon, like the French city. It's the pronunciation, yeah.
Very informative here in the commentary box with ever eloquent, playing around with his high English. We got to adapt quickly here.
So a few seconds to see out, and Club Brugge will have won this game. It will be their second win of the competition. They'll be the only team on 2 wins in the whole competition. Of course, they would have been the only team other than Cosmos to have played their full complement of games so far. Kick out of hand from the goalkeeper, Asoma, with the header away. Nice touch from Tlanyane. Azuma, and a lot of pressure here, somehow escapes. Tlanyane.
Some great flair there. Quite a few moments here for hopefully some Kasi flavor in the wrap-up of this competition. Something that our South African fans really enjoy. But always good to see some Kasi flavor if you are leading or winning.
I don't know if there's much time left for it. As Akram Mashallah forgot to check his watch. I have seen him glance down at it a few times, so perhaps registering some stoppages inside stoppage time. We're about to hit 4 minutes of additional time, and finally the whistle does come. Progress not guaranteed for Club Brugge, but they have left Highlands Park with a mountain to climb. Jomo Cosmos confirmed bottom of the group. Now it all comes down to the Lions of the North and whether or not they can get a massive victory here against ADO Den Haag in the later game. Only one goal separated the two sides, came courtesy of 16-year-old Gabriel Lemonye. And Club Brugge now will